DeepSeek trained a frontier-level reasoning model for $5 million. That's 1/20th the budget of the competition. The math breaks until you see what they changed. That's DeepSeek's new reasoning model. It proves you can build world-class AI without a supercomputer budget. Here's how they did it, and how you can run it yourself. If you use AI to get work done, this shifts the power from massive data centers straight to your desk. It means you're no longer at the mercy of API price hikes or service outages. You own the tool. But how did they get frontier performance without the billions? You probably think beating the big players requires outspending them. You assume more chips and bigger clusters are the only path. That's wrong. Think of the old way as a single generalist trying to memorize every book in a library. DeepSeek's approach is a team of specialists. Only the right expert wakes up to solve your problem. It's the difference between a crowded room where everyone shouts and a focused team where the right person answers the phone. DeepSeek uses a technique called mixture of experts. Instead of firing the whole brain for every question, it activates only the parts that matter. If you ask for code, the coding experts wake up. If you ask for math, the math experts take over. The rest stay asleep. The model routes the query instantly to the active experts. You save massive compute. That means faster responses and significantly lower costs per token. But saving chips is just the first trick. In a second, I'll show you the part nobody expects about how they trained this thing without breaking the bank. They didn't just save money on inference. They optimized the training itself. They use reinforcement learning to teach step-by-step reasoning. The model learns to think before it speaks. It works through a problem like you would debug code. It checks its work. It corrects errors. It doesn't just predict the next word. It explores a path of reasoning. It gets rewarded for the correct answer and penalized for hallucinations. This forces the model to actually solve the problem, not just mimic the solution. That's why DeepSeek's iterations, like the R1 and V4 models, hit math and coding benchmarks that match the frontier leaders. It doesn't just guess, it reasons. And that's not even the strange part. But before you rush to download this miracle, I need to show you the hardware reality check that catches most people off guard. Because DeepSeek releases open weights, you can download the model and run it locally. No API fees, no rate limits. Your data stays on your machine. Open weights mean transparency. You can audit the model. You aren't locked into a black box. This changes the game for enterprise privacy and custom workflows. This is huge for privacy. You get direct control. You can even fine-tune it on your own data. Want a coding assistant that knows your project? You can train it. You want a research tool for your niche? Fine-tune it. The V4 model runs locally, giving you low-latency responses for iterative workflows. But here's the catch. Running frontier reasoning locally demands serious hardware. You can't just plug this into a standard laptop. You need a robust GPU with plenty of RAM. You need technical know-how to set up the environment. This is a powerhouse for developers and serious tinkerers, not a plug-and-play app for everyone. You need the gear to run the gear. DeepSeek proves architectural efficiency beats the brute force arms race. You don't need a billion-dollar budget to build frontier intelligence. The industry is shifting from compute-heavy spending to smart design. This opens the door for smaller teams to compete. You don't have to rent AI from a giant to get world-class results. And let's be clear, proprietary models might still lead in broad general knowledge, but for specific, private, or cost-sensitive tasks, DeepSeek is the play. The takeaway is simple. Smarter design always wins over bigger budgets. If you want this stuff explained without the hype, subscribe. That's what we do here, daily. That's the full picture. If this made it click, tap subscribe. There's a new AI explainer here every day, and tap the video on screen to keep going. See you in the next one.